Hi Libra, welcome to your 2019 forecast. Today I want to be talking about the lunar eclipse that is going to be happening on January 21st. And I want to talk a little bit about what to expect in 2019 for Libras. Now, some of the things that are happening right now are changing. There's a lot of change going on. And a lot of people are experiencing changes in different areas of their life. Now, for Libra, because I'm a Libra rising, it's a little bit easier for me to do this forecast because I know exactly where the placements are happening in the chart. One of the things that I want to focus on primarily is I want to focus on the relationship sector for Libra, because Libra is a very it's a very partnership driven sign. Libra is very focused on partnerships, focused on balance, focusing on building something with another person. So Libra needs a partner. It's very difficult for a Libra to be single. And I'm not saying that it's not possible, it is possible, but Libras do a lot better in a relationship. So one of the things that I want to discuss is how Uranus is in Aries. That's the first thing I want to discuss. But before I get into that, stay tuned, because I'm going to be talking more about relationships and love, and I'm going to get into business and all of the other fun goodies that are coming up in 2019. But before I do that, I want to let you know that with the lunar eclipse that's going to be happening on the 21st, depending on where you are in the world, it's going to be happening at a different time for you, depending on where you are. But for those of you that are in the Americas, in the Western world, that's where the eclipse is going to be seen. So that means it's going to affect us more here than it would anywhere else in the world. And you see that happening already with what's going on in the States with Donald Trump, and what's going on with job security. It's very difficult for people to have job security today because a lot of people are relying on other people to provide jobs for them. So with that being said, let's move into really what's important for Libra. And what's important for Libra to know, and every sign to know, is that when the lunar eclipse happens, the lunar eclipse is not going to make changes immediately. Some people think, oh, well, if there's a lunar eclipse on the 21st, then right away we're going to see results on the 21st. No, that's not how it works. What happens is that there's a snapshot of the chart on the 21st. So I have a chart here that I've been showing all signs just to give everybody an idea of what the chart looks like, because what this chart is going to do, and here's a snapshot of the chart. So you'll see this is the chart that, and I'm sorry it's not focusing, but you get an idea of what it looks like. Okay, there you go. So this ideally is the chart that we're looking at. So what does that mean? It means that this is a snapshot of what's going to play out, the events that are going to play out in the next 6 months. Because what happens when there's a lunar eclipse is that there's, the moon and the sun and all of that, and I'm not going to get into the technical stuff. You can always Google that. But it's a big major thing that everybody can see, depending on what area you're in. So it's signaling, it's saying, look, hello, there's, this time, this moment is important. This moment in time is very important. So what does that mean for you? Well, it means that there's the major theme for everybody, doesn't matter what sign you are, the major theme is change. Okay, so a lot of people are going through changes. And these might be, your awakening, your spirit is awakening. It could be changes in your job. It could be changes in your relationship. It could be changes in your business and your family. All of these things are happening for everybody. Now, some people are experiencing changes in certain areas because every sign is different. So for Libra, what I see for you is big changes in relationships. So how you approach people, how you approach projects, how you approach business. And I don't just mean like relationships as in your significant other. No. I'm saying relationships on all fronts. I'm saying relationships, friends, business, partnership, family. How do you react to people? Or how do people react to you, and how do you respond to that? Now, the reason why I'm saying that there's going to be a lot of changes in that area is because for the last few years, Uranus has been in your 7th house in Aries. And it's been very draining for you in relationships. There's been a lot of surprises in relationships, a lot of things that you couldn't control in certain parts of your relationship that you didn't feel were stable, okay? And maybe somebody reacted to you in a certain way where you were confused. Like, why is this person, I've been really nice to this person. Why are they reacting to me in a certain way? Or why are they behaving like this? Like, I've been very nice to them. I've done a lot for them and all of that. But here's the thing, okay? People sometimes are going through their own personal issues inside of themselves, and that can affect your relationship. So the people that you might have dealt with in the last few years, whether it was business, family, friends, whatever, some of them reacted very strongly to you, or maybe they said something negative to you and you didn't understand why they were having this attitude with you, or why they weren't being consistent with you. Why were they saying one thing and then doing another thing? Okay. And that is the major theme of Uranus in Aries, because first of all, Aries is a very hot-headed sign. It's very, it's ruled by Mars, which is the planet of war. So, these people could have been very, sure of themselves, knowing like, I know what I'm doing. I egotistical almost. And then putting Uranus there, it just like, it makes everything go haywire, because Uranus is a planet of surprise and changes. So these people were not only egotistical, but maybe they were very set in their ways and very independent and wanted to kind of do their own thing. And they weren't thinking about how you felt, even though you were being very nice to them and going out of your way for them and being friendly. But here's the thing, here's the lesson that comes out of that. And that's the beauty of astrology, is that in astrology, we go through all of these phases, okay? And these phases aren't there just to predict the future. They're there to teach us something, okay? So when something happens to you, let's say, you're walking and you fall on your face and it hurts, you've learned now not to walk, maybe you were walking a certain way, or you tripped over something, or you weren't paying attention. Now okay, like, okay, I shouldn't walk that way, or I should pay more attention to what I'm doing. So with Aries there, with Uranus in Aries, you've now learned that sometimes being overly nice to somebody isn't going to get you the response that you want. That means that you really need to be honest with the person. If there's something that you don't like, you need to say it. You need to say, look, you got to put your foot down and say, no, I'm not going to do this. And the theme for Libra this 2019 is boundaries. Okay, I'm going to say it again. Boundaries. You need to set boundaries for yourself and for your relationships, because you are very nice. Libras are very, very nice people. I'm not saying everybody is nice, everybody's different, but Libras tend to give the partner the benefit of the doubt. Okay. What does that mean? It means setting boundaries for yourself and knowing and saying, okay, I like this or I don't like this. And not always putting everybody else before you. Because sometimes what happens is we want to be so nice and we might be afraid to lose a partnership. We might be afraid, oh, you know, I don't want to lose this person. I want this person to be on my team. I want this person to like me. Yeah, but you also need to realize that if you're too nice to somebody, then they might take advantage of that. And that's what you see with Aries. Another thing too I've noticed with Aries in the 7th house is a lot of people are unreliable. So like your partners and people in your partnerships in business or whatever you were doing, they might have been unreliable. They may have not been there when you needed them. Maybe they didn't show up for something that you were doing or you were working on. Maybe, you know, they abandoned you. And that's the thing with Uranus. It's so unpredictable and it's changeable and it's very independent. It wants to do its own thing. It's not thinking about the other person. Okay, even though it's ruled by Aquarius, I believe it's also ruled by Pisces as well too. And Pisces is not compatible with Libra because Pisces is a water sign and it's just not compatible. So keep that in mind to set boundaries for yourself and understand that you deserve better. Here's the good news. The good news is that Uranus is leaving Aries in March. So we're going to see a lot of changes. The changes are not going to happen on the 21st of January. I'm sorry to say that, it's not. It's going to take gradual time to see these changes, but they are coming, Libra. They are definitely coming. Okay? Also, you have Mars currently in your 7th house. It's going to be transiting. It is transiting your 7th house. And it's also during the lunar eclipse, it's conjunct. It's actually conjunct by 1 degree orb, by 1 and 2 degree orb, 2 degree orb for Jupiter and 1 degree for Venus. Venus is your ruler, okay? So what does that mean? That means that between now and about, I would say by the end of March, it's a great time to meet new people. To meet new people for business, to meet new people for relationships. If you're single, this is a great time to be mingling with people. But it's especially good for business because your 7th house is business and marriage and partnerships. So, you know, if you're looking at getting married in the next couple of months or weeks even, it's a very good aspect. Now, another thing to keep in mind, you also have a lot of planets in in Capricorn. Saturn is there. And Saturn is squared Aries. It's a very tight square on the lunar eclipse. So what does that mean? It means that any business that you do, any business that you start, any partnership you start, any marriage you start, it's going to need work. So it doesn't mean that, you know, the ups and downs that you experience in these businesses or relationships are going to be easy. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be challenges. And the reason why I say that there's going to be challenges, at least until March, is because you have Pluto as well squaring Uranus until March, and then it's going to release. So like I said, this common theme of, you know, constantly working and pushing and still experiencing all of these transitions that you're experiencing, you might feel like there's no hope, but there is hope. I'm telling you that there's a lot of hope happening here because there's major shifts going on. And the major shifts that are going on are ones that needed to happen a long time ago. Like these changes, they needed to happen and they're finally happening, which is great. But keep in mind that in any partnership, in any business you do or start, it needs your 100% undivided attention. You know, flying off the handle and getting upset about things, or just kind of letting things go and not resolving them, is not something that you should do. You know, making sure that you put your best foot forward and resolving things is what Libra is all about, because Libra is the sign of justice. You know, you're the sign of justice. You want to make sure that everybody's happy. You want to make sure that it's, you know, everything that's going on is fair for everybody. And so with that, it's important that you become a role model. You become a role model showing other people that, okay, yeah, I want to start this business, I want to start this marriage, or I'm already in a partnership, but I'm going to show people how to continuously be consistent in these things. Because here's the thing, it doesn't matter what you do in your life, as long as you're consistent and you continuously work at something, then you can definitely get the results that you want. But if you're just kind of sitting back and you're like, okay, you know, I'm going to let that go, I'm not going to say anything about it, I'm just going to be like, it didn't happen. No, you have to speak up, you have to say something, you have to work towards something. You need to have an opinion about things and not just sit back and let people kind of walk all over you and let them dictate what they want to you in these partnerships in your personal life. So you need to set boundaries. That's the message I have for you for 2019, and what the lunar eclipse is signaling for you in your partnerships. Okay. Now, you have Jupiter this year in the third house. That means anything to do with communication, writing, short trips, travels, vehicles, anything like that, like whether it's a business in cars or it's a business in writing, it's going to be very beneficial for you. Broadcasting, anything like that, it's going to boom, because anything that Jupiter touches, it expands. Okay. And with plenty of aspects happening in your seventh house, you're going to see this definitely happening between now and the end of March. So that's a beautiful thing. But remember, it also is something that can happen longer than March. It can happen over 6 months, because this is a snapshot of the lunar eclipse. So remember, the lunar eclipse, anything that happens in this chart is going to take at least 6 months to manifest, or it could have already manifested before the lunar eclipse. But most likely it will manifest after, because there's some sort of ending happening now in everybody's life, and in your life especially as well too. The ending of no longer letting people walk all over you, being able to say, look, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, these are the boundaries I have. And don't be afraid that you're going to miss out on something because you set a boundary. You have to remember, if you let the universe know, if you say, look, I'm not going to accept that, then the universe says, oh, okay, they're willing to not accept that. Let me do better. And this way you can put out into the universe what you really want. But if you just kind of like accept things and you kind of roll over, you know, like a dog with a bone, and you're like, oh, I'm just going to accept this, then it's very difficult for something better to come to you. Okay, so set your boundaries high. Work hard, be consistent like you have been. If you have been consistent, great. If you haven't been, then that's something that you need to work on. And it's going to bring you the rewards that you want, as long as you're consistent. Okay. Now, there's a lot going on in your home life. Okay. So you might be living somewhere that you've wanted to move for a while, or maybe you just moved, and you know, maybe you're there now and you don't really like it, or there's changes going on in your family. These changes that have been happening, not changes, but these challenges that you may have had, are really going to release themselves after March. That's the beauty of this forecast, that I wanted to come on here and tell people that there's hope. That after March, Uranus is a big theme in this lunar eclipse. So that's why the theme has changed, because it's literally it's trining the moon. So it's trining, you know, it's connecting to a whole bunch of different planets, okay? But the common theme is here, and I want to keep it very simple because some of you don't know astrology. So if I get all technical with you about the signs and the angles and all that, it's not helpful for you. It's more helpful for you if I tell you that this is what this means. So Uranus, it's been in Aries for a very long time, and it's a generation planet, meaning it takes a very long time to transit the sun. It takes about 84 years for the planet Uranus to travel around the sun. Okay, so it's moving now out of where it's been for a very long time. It took, I think, about, I could be wrong, 7 or 5 years, something like that, but it's been a very long time in Aries. And you've had a lot of challenges in your family life, you know, maybe some arguments, maybe some financial issues with your family, you know, just a lot of changes in your family. And it's been a lot to deal with, but now it's moving and there's going to be bigger and better things happening for you. So just keep in mind that whatever is not serving you anymore, whether it's a relationship, a business, a friend, you know, set boundaries for yourself. Tell people what you want. Tell people, you know, what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do. And I think when you do that, you're going to see better results in your relationship and in everything else. Also, use the challenges that you have in your home through expanding your business and expanding your career and believing in yourself, because you have very good aspects right now to build a business. If you've been deciding to build a business and that's something that you want to do, then I really believe that you should start doing that. If it's something you have to do in your part-time, do it in your part-time. Take advantage of Jupiter in your third house, because that's, you know, Jupiter is a planet of expansion and it's there in communication. So if you have a business you're starting in communication, or you want to write a book, that's also something that you might want to consider as well. Okay, Libra? Thank you very much for watching this video. I really look forward to doing more videos for you. And if you like the video, please comment about your opinion about the video in terms of whether it relates to you or it doesn't relate to you. And like and subscribe to this channel. Also, if you share this video with somebody, it may help somebody else who might be going through a difficult time. Let them know that there is faith and that things are changing and things are getting better. Okay, Libra? Thank you very much for tuning in, and I wish you all the best in 2019. And in the months beyond. Please come back and watch more videos. Thanks. Bye.